On the
We're
show.
here.
Well,
We're live. We are live. We are alive, so that's always good.
All of that is true.
This is Dope or Nope. It is July 27th, Thursday, a little bit after 3. Excuse the tardiness. I had to switch mouse around. Also, we had Nick on just for a second from Italy.
With
boys
a hat.
and girls. With the hat. Not the really bright colors, in case you followed him through that debacle.
No, he looked very chic.
Wow, that's a descriptor.
No, he was looking very very Italian.
He's
What's up,
looking really
Great
great.
hat.
Yeah. So, in case you're joining us for the first time, this is Dope or Nope. We do this every single Thursday that we're all together.
Except for some exceptions.
Except for some Thursdays. At 3 p.m. EST, that is generally the move. This is the best demo drop you're going to hear. Let me introduce who's on the panel today. My name is HESS. I do radio promotion for Armada Music and a couple other labels. I've been known to be around in the industry for a little while.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little while.
I also manage Vassi, DJ Ray, Nadia Ali, and an up-and-comer named Staria. So, next we have Mr. Jon McDaniel, who has spent the
better part of my
half his life. A good portion of his life, maybe half so far, maybe less than half, who knows. Programming the #1 and longest running dance station in America, an actual station, by the way, not anything else. A real radio station that you can go, it has a door, you can go there.
Bricks and mortar.
Yeah, C89.5 in Seattle.
Yep.
And he's got a great set of ears.
Yeah, so I can't wait to put him to use on these demos.
Right? And also some freshly turquoised hair.
Yes.
As you can see there. And we're back with the piano and the fireplace, so that's great. Mr. Lorne Padman will be not only our vice president of all things at DIMOC, but also, since Nick's apparently not coming back, maybe, I don't know, he is. He will be our one and only studio aficionado today as well. So
watch out.
There you have it.
Watch out.
Right? And who's here already? Remnez, DJ Spawn, Bad Monkey, Radio Dave. What's cracking?
Where are you seeing everybody appear, just so everyone knows?
What's that?
Where are you seeing everyone appear, just so that other people know?
Oh, so really right now, I mean, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, and we are on the Disco Fries Facebook, Disco Fries YouTube, Disco Fries Twitch, and my Twitter, which is I am HESS.
Got it.
That's where we're broadcasting at the moment. And
We'll be on Spotify later.
What's that?
Yeah. And we'll be on Spotify later.
And later on today, all things going well, we will be on Spotify. You're right. And we have a really nice spot there where we put up all the episodes.
Very cool.
Also want to say, if you want to get a couple demos in, hurry up, because I'm going to start not looking at that sheet. Right? So I have a couple. So I've been using this app, by the way, called TrackStack. And it's a really neat way to send demos over. And I've been using it for demos for my other work. And I have a couple in here that have come through that are really, really interesting from an artist called Sangarang. And I thought we'd start the show with one. You want to do that?
Sure. We got a red hot shot.
Here we go. This is Sangarang, Nothing on You, featuring Chris Pre. And it doesn't really have a volume control, so I have to kind of do this.
unless you could change my mind. And you ain't gotta tell me twice. With them tight jeans and them look in your eyes, had me locked down, had to pull you aside, baby. Hold on with that grip on my thigh, damn. You said enough conversation. All night you been keeping me waiting. I'm paralyzed, it must be your persuasion. Girl, I got nothing on you. I don't. I got nothing on you. And nobody in this room got nothing on you, girl. I got nothing on you. Yeah. Girl, I got nothing on you. Nah. I got nothing on you. Yeah. Girl, I got nothing on you.
Can I just say,
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
you know when you have said in the past, that sounds expensive? That sounds like $1 million in here right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Clean. Oh, nice.
I'm impressed.
What are we going to do for bells today?
Yeah.
I'm going to try one. Let me see. Yep.
Ooh,
All right. That'll do.
you're the bell guy today.
I would also like a bell, please.
Oh, God. JB, you as well?
Yeah, if your finger can handle it.
Yep. I just roll through all 4 fingers. It'll be fun. And it's the week to watch it.
What a fun song.
What a fun song.
The vocal is really good. He's singing to some girl he obviously thinks the world of.
Yeah.
And it's just got such a fun groove. So, yeah,
Groove.
really fun.
I'm going to use the overused word vibes.
Vibes. Super vibe. Full
I
vibe.
use groove instead. So,
I mean,
Nothing but vibes.
that's a wow.
The top line is really, really solid. I love the keys that are being played under all of it. That's the keys coupled with the rounded bass makes it feel just so glued in, and it, I don't know, it kind of like reminds me of something that I would have heard 20 or 30 years ago, but an electronic version of it. Really amazing, just beautiful record. 10 out of 10.
And there's 5 tracks from this person here. that
Wow.
they sent out.
Who is it? What's the artist?
Sangarang. So it's Sangarang. I mean, there's some. Can I just play one more that I heard before?
Definitely worth it.
This one's called Biohazard.
Never did it. Time to make it. Time to make it. Time to make it. Induce the fever, be it, let the virus be the cure. This biohazard. A biohazard. I'ma stay right here though. I don't wanna make it. Biohazard.
I for sure have been on this trip.
Breaking with your eyes, from your lips I see the lies. Familiar you from past lives, inside screaming cut ties. You make me feel baptized, initiated, faded. Induce the fever, be it, licks the virus, be the cure. This biohazard.
I would love to hear from this artist.
Yeah, I can. So that's the interesting thing about TrackStack, by the way. I can set up like a team.
Yeah.
And just like shoot stuff over.
Right.
And then you guys can.
Oh.
It's actually really cool. It's beta. Jamie Jones is a person who originally helped design this. So pretty cool.
Oh yeah, great record. Another great record.
Yeah, another banging track, right?
Yeah.
Sangarang.
So bangarang, sangarang, doing a bangarang. Anyway, so that is that
That's
one.
Yeah, nice stuff.
Off of that app for a second and get back to SoundCloud.
And isn't it so interesting that it was two completely different vibes, genres, sound production, I'd say, were just, entirely different. You can tell the same voice, but that's about it, you know?
Yeah, I listened to them all briefly before we started, and they're all different.
Cheeky.
I mean, I wasn't originally going to use it. I'm like, I should check and see if I got stuff. And I was like... So pretty cool stuff. Did you want to
thanks
real quick, Bad Monkey, how far back, what's the name of the song that you're telling me about here? I thought we covered a lot of stuff, but let me know, put that up in the chat here so I can tell. Lauren, when do you want to talk about the Grammys a little bit? You want to do that now, or
well, we can introduce the topic that we were talking about, the idea of like having an industry topic every week or thereabouts, where we were trying to figure out from our audience whether they just want us to give quotes and comments and fixes and help on demos, or whether it would be also helpful to be a fly in the wall to listen to us talk about a particular topic. So I don't know if we still have the answer to that, but we do seemingly love the sound of our own voices. So we came up with the idea of let's just do it anyways. So we were trying to think of a topic, and I thought that one of the industry topics that could be really good is the invention of a brand new Grammy dance category, which is the best dance pop recording. Sadly, it's been written as pop dance recording, so that people could understand what kind of dance it is, but we're talking about the dance pop genre. So best pop dance recording is the official name, and it's a brand new Grammy Award that's effectively has doubled the amount of single nominations from 5 to 10. And obviously one will be a winner, but now you have two winners. It's just great. And I know a lot about it because I was a co-author in writing it with Robbie Engel, and we and one other guy, Evan Bogart, who's a really famed writer in his own right. And we, the three of us, kind of like got together and figured out that we wanted to create a different category because there was so much pressure, seemingly, on the dance electronic recording, because everybody wanted to be there, which meant that it was getting very crowded with songs that were kind of like a wolf in a wolf in sheep's clothing kind of concept. It's like wasn't really designed for it, but also the evolution of pop music, I think, has really borrowed from electronic so much over these past 20 years, I'd say. And the advent of the dance pop genre, which was invented in the 80s, which has also been called commercial dance, and it's been called many different things, but it really has, and JB, you could speak to this as well, it really has jumped up a lot in the last 20 years or so. And then you're getting artists like Chainsmokers and Zedd and Calvin Harris, who are like authentically bona fide dance artists who get recognized as such with, a Grammy Award even in that case. And then all of a sudden they kind of get kicked out of the dance category because they're making dance pop, but dance pop isn't dance enough, so it just goes into the pop sphere, which gets knocked
with
down
everything else.
And it gets destroyed by Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber and et cetera, et cetera. So we thought if we were to suggest with a lot of data about why there should be this category, it would create a home for the artist I just mentioned, and also it would give the really heavily dance-leaning pop songs from Dua Lipa, et cetera, a chance to compete with something as well, like Beyonce, for example. And I think that it's done a really good job because now it got approved, and the Recording Academy thankfully went with it and announced just last month that there's going to be this new recording, which means that everyone can now submit, instead of just submitting for best dance electronic recording, you can now submit for best pop dance recording. And I think
technically, so now there's 3 categories technically, right? Because you have the remix as well.
Well, there's 4 categories if you think of it like that, because there's best album also.
Right.
So there's best dance electronic album.
Was it the Beyonce album that kind of catalyzed that one?
I mean, if you're asking me personally, my feeling on it was that my understanding is that there's always been this tussle between pop and dance as to what should go where and things like that. It's been, if you look at it over the years, you'll see that. So I think it was potentially the straw that broke the camel's back and just made people excited enough to be able to go, this is a really great opportunity. There's so much visibility now for dance music, and there's a lot of pressure on it and excitement about it. And it even went to television this year, so the award. So we were kind of looking at it like, well, shouldn't this be at the moment to actually make the home? Then that means that dance prop producers, the young people who are coming through, who aren't comfortable in saying, I'm a dance pop producer. They keep saying, oh yeah, I make dance and I make pop, and I kind of move between the two, and no one's definitively like owning it. So I was like, well, then if we create something, then there's a home for it,
right?
I
love it.
And there's also one other huge benefit, which is kind of a little bit hidden in plain sight, which is the best dance electronic recording effectively has less pressure on it, and that means that it's no longer going to have dance pop artists or songs in there competing if it's not a straight up dance record, which means that the people over these years that you guys would know well, like from Chicago, New York, and around the world, who are like, oh, there's no room for me here because I'm going to get squashed every year by the EDM guys or girls or whatever, artists I mean to say really. Now they have some more space. So I think it creates space for everyone. It's just a massive win. There's no downside. It's only upside. Like literally, it's a win-win-win. It's insane. So
100%.
Anyway,
I know maybe some of the
August
old
31.
Maybe the old school purists will get a little.
Yeah.
Somehow they always find a way to get ruffled. I'm not sure how that happens.
What was the submission deadline again?
August 31. August 31 is the deadline
so
for
boys and girls.
And is there some sort of certain criteria that a song would have to hit before it becomes eligible for that category, or is it just
needs to be released?
This could work here.
This needs to be released within the last year. It needs to be released on DSPs in America as a minimum, as I remember. And then once it can be submitted by anyone who's a member of the Recording Academy. If you're a member, a professional member, a voting member, or a company, a media organization, you can submit anything. And then I guess it's up to the Recording Academy to sort it and approve it and sift it and make sure that it's correct. Otherwise, I might think I'm trying to do rap, but I might be doing pop, so someone will screen it and make it right, I guess.
And just a shout out for all the producers and or artists who have strong opinions about how the Grammys are handled, but you have not gone through the process of becoming a voting member. Don't complain.
Yeah.
You can sign up and become part of the voting process. Yourself. So get busy. How does one become a member? Do you have a short version of that, Lorne?
I have a short version, which is currently it's you need to get 2 recommendations, and the recommendations is either from someone who's already a member, but it can be from like a manager. It can be from another music industry person. It doesn't have to be Grammys only looking after Grammys, let's say. It can be 2 authentic, legit people. Like, for example, hypothetically, I don't even know what the answer is, but imagine that you 2 are not part of the Recording Academy at all, you could still recommend me, for example, because you know me for a period of 5 years or something, and you can write a little bit about me, and then it would go in for consideration. And then you pay the $150 fee if you're approved. I think that's how it works.
You need production credits, though. Is that correct?
Yeah, you need production credits. It's all very clear as day off the Recording Academy website.
Off the Grammy site, yeah.
Yeah, it talks about how I think you need, I want to say it's at least a minimum of 5 within the last 5 years, production credits or writing credits, etc. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're meant to be a creator. It's for creators. It was always invented in 58, I think, 58, 56, 58.
Right.
As for creators and by creators.
I am having some serious problems with this mouse also.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fully charged. I'm literally trying to make it go up the page right now, and 0 is happening.
Yeah, you have mouse problems, I see.
I don't know what to do about that, because that's really how I make the music work.
Well, while you figure that out, I can ask you, JB, over the years when you were at Kane HC in Seattle for all those years, you would have seen the advent of dance pop almost as a genre, going from very, very underground records to vocal heavy structured records that are still called dance, but really you're like, well, it could also be crossover radio, and that was never true for any of the underground records in the 80s and 90s, right?
Right. Yeah. It seemed like towards around the early 2000s, when David Guetta kind of came onto the scene, started working with Black Eyed Peas and sort of started creating that dance pop thing kind of there. It feels to me like that was the beginning of where we're at now. With the Calvin Harris and the Lady Gagas and, all of that stuff. And of course, Black Eyed Peas was a huge project. So
yeah, even before that, like in Australia, we always believed that the American mainstream door was knocked down by David Guetta and Kelly Rowland.
Yep,
yeah,
100%. That was the turning point where everyone was like, oh, okay.
Oh, I get it.
Such a great track.
Yeah. Because that was truly more of a dance song as opposed to Barbie and Blue and the things that happened prior to that. Those were, novelty or, novelty. Really.
Yeah.
Just a novelty. And it's still here. All right, you ready to hit this demo?
Yeah. What do you got?
If your mouse is ready, we're ready.
So let's see. Let me turn that off. I might have too many tabs open. This is Onacity, and this is called Puff It on Dope or Nope.
Perfect. Johnny, pass me that cigar. The Cuban one. The one that helps you dance and shine like the stars. The one that makes you relish the madness. The one that illuminates an aura of artistry. The one that dictates power and desire. The one that helps you shape your thought. The one that glows in the dark like no other.
Let this play out. Bell, please.
Coming right up to, and for me, and JB, do you want one as well?
I'm sure. That was fun.
Multi-bells. It was great.
Wow, man.
Right.
What a record.
More cowbell.
More cowbell. I actually need a cowbell.
That was
a real surprise from the first 15 or 20 seconds to wherever it went after that. Yeah. Someone's clearly been puffing it, and then they made that song.
I see what you did.
It's fun though. Yeah, I mean, like puffing.
It's a really interesting 2-beat loop. Like it's like a 1, 2, and 1, 2, and it's like that little 2-beat loop, which is quite early. No, I guess late 2000s. Tech house feeling. Axwell was doing a lot of that 2-beat loop stuff, like very Latin feeling, like a kind of in its groove, but it's just fantastic. Really clean. Really
I mean,
love it.
Clean. Like I can hear, because I'm hearing pre-show when I hear the music before it goes to you guys. So, and normally I can hear like the really good stuff and then what's awful. But in between, sometimes I can't really get a real cue on it. These last couple of tracks, like the one from Trackstack and also this one, just feel really clean. Really clean.
Right. Really great record.
So congratulations on that part of it. I don't know. I don't have anything. I normally don't like spoken word too much, but I don't really have anything. I got no problems with this one. Yeah. So, Lauren, I just want to go back and just wrap up what's going on with the Grammys real quick. So, August 31st, you guys, if you have something that's been released in the last year, figure out how to get it in there. If you're a member, congratulations. If you're not, get to work. You won't probably be able to submit this time, but anyone else could also submit your music.
Yeah, anybody else can submit for you. Yeah. Right. Other people can submit for you.
And in regards to the categories, it's incredibly fantastic that this has happened for those of us who have been in for a various amount of years, that have struggled, but have been proponents of this format, but have struggled with recognition in only 2-year or 3-year increments over, every 7 years. It's really sucks when you're doing all this work behind the scenes, and I'm not even an artist. I can't even imagine what that feels like. To do that kind of work and feel like you're not ever going to be seen. So it's just really more of a chance to take a look at it. So speaking of some maybe soon to be Grammy nominated people, this one is by Merger, and this is called Piano House on Dober Note. Mercury was saying that this is still an instrumental, work in progress, obviously, and he's working on getting a vocal on top of that. I love this. Also, as an instrumental, super cool.
Yeah, I liked it just as an instrumental too. Go ahead, Lorne.
I'd like to hear where it heads up as we're talking. Just keep it playing for us here with the second copy. What do you think of it?
I think that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Well done.
What's not to like about this track? It's got a really, overall summery feel. And when he said that he's still shopping around for the vocal, I was like, it almost doesn't need one. It's compelling enough all by itself. It's got such great texture and energy. And I could hear this on dance radio, even in this form without the vocal, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Very compelling.
So, for me, it feels like some Avicii demos that I have on my hard drive that never got released. And it feels a little bit like what he was doing before he actually had vocals out on some of the songs. I remember there was a song, I think we called Penguin, and then it become Fade Into Darkness or something like that, one of those type of records. It feels similar. It's got these emotional moments and really great use of piano. My only thought was take a look at, like, right now it's great when it's in out, but the very first time I heard the piano chords, I thought, is something slightly clashing or out of key? I think there's one note in there that somehow it's either too many notes or one note slightly out or something like that. It just felt like there was a key clash. And if I went into it with a full-on pianist who could go, no, it's perfectly fine, if that was the case, then I would say, well, then we need to EQ it ever so slightly different in some places.
Right.
That would be all. But cleaning that up is obviously the easiest thing. It's just like, oh, let me fix that MIDI, or otherwise let me just EQ that part and it's fixed.
Right.
That would be the only advice from a technical perspective in Nick's absence that I would give you. And the bottom end just sort of felt like it needs a slight amount more separation so that it really does push through. It's very, very close, 95%.
Yeah. Congratulations. I think even as a whip, I'd like to give that I'm going to try a bell situation.
Oh,
no.
You're the bell now. What is that? There's your bell.
That's all I had. I don't have anything else that goes ding around here.
Okay. Wow. Sorry to hear that.
Good to know.
Well, what can I tell you? What else? This is a great record. Really, really nice record. I can imagine also with a vocal, but it can be female, male. It could be really anything. It could be really big, soulful, belty thing. It could be sung whispery, like a Linny style thing. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Good record. Good record.
I would say it would, because it's so good, I would be careful, is maybe the word I want to use, to match a vocal to that.
Yeah.
So that they're of equal quality and strength, maybe. Not one harder, more.
I'd also
other,
say that
less.
I would also say that there's not a lot of variation in it. So the current form of it is quite long, and just be mindful of how to keep it interesting and leaving the audience wanting more as opposed to giving them enough, because then they'll be like, oh, I'm satisfied. Then the second time they hear it, they go, wow, this feels like it's monotonous. So you need to, when you've got a really good idea, just try to limit how much you give out.
But is it also true that if you were shopping this to a vocalist or a songwriter, you kind of leave the
Yep, definitely.
Leave it open a little bit, and so that they don't feel confined to a melody or a thing, or So I guess in regards to its use.
when you're sending it out to a vocalist, a writer, they don't generally top line writers don't want to have too much melody in the way, because otherwise they're kind of railroaded into, well, this is all I can do now, or try to do a counter melody, which is awkward. So if you just give chords, normally there's plenty of space and room for a melody to come to mind. But when you've got those chords dancing around, I mean, they're stepping down, but it's achievable. I don't think there's too much in there. It's fine.
Too much in the way of getting something sorted. All right. Well done, Merger. Thank you for sending that. Next up is Harry Kays, and this is called Light and Chill, right here on Dope or Note. This is 7 minutes, so I'm going to bounce around a little bit. Sorry. Don't adjust your headphones.
Lights and chill.
I'm going to move it around. We have the general idea. Who wants to go first on that one?
Someone else.
Yeah, that's you, buddy.
Oh, that's me or John?
Yeah, it's you.
All right, I'll go. Yeah. So I just want to say, like, try if you guys can when you drop off demos to keep them a little bit more condensed so that we can present the meat instead of the entire meal.
Mix in beats,
if you will. So that said, I actually kind of like this. You know, I mean, it is maybe a warm-up record or some kind of thing like that. I don't find it like radio, obviously, but I do think like there's a place like this when you're first opening a club and you just want to like put on something that's cool and really, you know, nice. So that's what I think. This is really good though.
Yeah, I definitely think it's very clubby, and I think you just pretty much crystallize right where it belongs. It's kind of like when the club first opens, you want something cool and vibey that's of a certain length even, and I think this meets that. So yeah, it's it's, to me, it doesn't sound like a radio record without a radio edit, which would probably be 3 minutes or under. But as far as the club goes, this definitely has that sound. So
yeah, I find this maybe a brunchy kind of thing. Maybe, you know, Ibiza club, sunny day, you're hanging, is that kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, I think that we very often get lost on thinking that every single thing needs to be main room or it needs to be peak time. And there are plenty of instances where you need a record like this to maintain a vibe. And it could be like a 5 a.m., 6 a.m. club, which I have DJ'd at before. You know, I've literally got out of my bed to go to a DJ set at 7 a.m. or something, like from 7 to 9. And these kinds of records are absolutely the ones that would do well. So, or everything else mood-wise that you just talked about, like a relaxed sort of thing or a pool vibe or something like that. It could work in a lot of different places. So I think for what it is, it's really, really, really good.
Yeah,
really solid.
I
really liked it. I couldn't really. There's nothing really about it that's broken or wrong to be fixed, or there's nothing creatively that I would change in it, except for just trying to space out the ideas a little bit, but also shrink it down. If it's 7 minutes, then it could probably be 4.5, 5, and some of the ideas just make sure that they're not interfering with each other is all.
Yeah, easily just 5 for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so that takes care of that. Next one up is Celestial Void and Sydney Grimm, and this is called Polarity, and this is Dope or Nope.
You and I, magnetized, high to high, heart and mind, but somewhere along the line, we were repelled inside. I still believe we could have clarity, westerns to east, reverse polarity. I still believe we could have everything. We turn to reverse polarity.
Wow, great. I like it. I think it's a really, really cool record. I was writing my notes to myself, really, and I said I was writing, Polarity is starting strong. Strong vocal quality, beautiful tone, strong depth of tone. Which is hard for girls to get a low register, obviously, but to get it that strong is just rare. You don't hear it so often. So that was really nice. I don't know if I need the duet section that's happening now. I think you could just keep it with her. But it would be nice if she stepped up an octave and started singing higher, like literally just a straight octave up she could easily do because she starts from such a low bass. And I was hoping that the pre-drop hook was good, and I think it needs to be bolstered up so everyone remembers what the song is, you know. Well, look who we had, almost a special guest. Close.
Almost.
Yeah. She's actually getting in an Uber to go.
All right.
She's giving a keynote in Salt Lake City this weekend. So
good on you, Jamie. You're the best. So anyway, the record is really cool. I think that these synths that you're hearing there, they're a little muddy. They're a little bit too mixed in. There's a big, really, really wide Hoover sounding synth that is taking up a lot of space. And it's not a very big change, and it's not wrong, it's not broken, and I'm not giving the track shit. I'm just saying that to make it cut through and sound more expensive, I think there needs to be probably a little bit more. What is this?
I don't know. Hold on.
And so a little bit more. Yeah, okay. It's funny. I expected that in the first drop. That's where I thought the record was going. So when I got hit with this really slowed down halftime future bass thing, I was like, okay. I thought it was going to go faster than that.
Yeah.
Because we'd already had such a slow section.
Exactly.
I was anticipating a big change, not to go back to slow again. But yeah, so I would probably mess with trying to change your record around and have what you're calling the future bass main drop as as a surprise almost.
Right.
And then try to inject more tempo into the song. But I really liked it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought the production was really good. So in layman's terms, what you were saying from a technical aspect, like that sound, to me, I was like, there's maybe one too many kitchen sinks in a few spaces in there, right? So I felt like it could be more simplistic. And to me, when it's a little more simpler, I feel like it hits harder, right?
That's right.
I want to use the word clean, but I don't mean it's just like there's too much going on.
That's right.
So it sounds maybe a little bit on the edge of noisy. It certainly could be a lot shorter. To get to the break at almost 2 minutes, I felt like that could have happened at like 140, 135. And I agree with the duet. It should just be about her. But I get it's like it feels like a big number, as they say, right? So so in that respect, I get what the drama of the entire body of this piece, but if you didn't have the wide synth, this really, really wide synth, if you didn't have that, then you wouldn't get what you just said, the drama and the epicness of it. So you need certain elements. You just have to be mindful as to which one you could either mute, and if it makes the track fall apart, or whether you just need to multi-band compress a couple of them, or even just multi-band EQ them, I would say, almost to punch out what you need and go and keep what you don't. Right.
You don't want to clutter it up with a bunch of stuff. I mean, if you've got really great ideas, you want them to be heard, cleanly. And I think, I think that's what you're saying, and I agree with that. I think that the intro on it was really pretty. The vocals kept it interesting. I think that's a good vocalist. I didn't get her name written down, but I thought it was really interesting where they brought in the drum leading up to that first drop, which of course caught me by surprise as well. As a future bass track, like you said, it's a lot of slow, and I think that and I think I probably need more comments for songs like this. But I mean, it's got good bones. I think it probably could just be refined a little bit.
Good stuff.
I agree too.
Thanks for sending that.
Great vocal.
What was her name again? I think you said
SHVRE. It was the vocalist, I think.
So probably like sure. That V is a U. SHVRE.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it share? Is that an upside down A? Who knows these days?
Internet.
Right.
Could just be Sherv. Old mate Sherv.
Okay, I think I have my mouse back. Let me get this track going here. This is Bad Monkey. I found it. This is called Abandoned God right here on Doper Notes.
abandoned God.
Bad Monkey with Abandoned God. What do you think?
Pretty chunky. Yeah, I thought that the keyboarding that kind of starts at the beginning and goes throughout it with the dun, 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 dun. I would have liked to hear the tones on that change a little bit, not just the instrument that, I don't know if you could flange the synth or something, just to make it a little bit different, like it's building towards something else. You do that a little bit later on in the song, but pretty fun song, Bad Monkey. You're a good monkey as far as I'm concerned.
I liked it. I think the intro was really strong. I quite liked the bass. I think the melodies are quite simple, how they just rise and fall. That might make it a little bit overly simple potentially. And I wasn't sure about the trumpet melody in the last half of the drop, or the trumpet sound perhaps. But maybe it needs to be thickened with some more actual real brass to make it feel a little bit more heavy, a little bit more legit. That could be an idea to try. But yeah, I can see it doing what it's meant to do. It feels like a regional song to me, like a song that could do well in different parts outside of just straight up, US club sort of thing. That makes sense. Feels very worldly. Good record. Really good, nice record.
Yeah. No, totally into it as well. Come on, Mouse. Here we go. So I just want to show you this. We had Nick on earlier, but the internet was really bad, and then he just texted us this picture.
Oh yeah, what is that?
Can you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's him with a hat. I like it. Who's he with?
So, if you don't know me, who's named Francesco here? That's the caption.
Gotcha.
So I think he's saying he looks more like Francesco than Francesco.
That's nice.
Right.
And I think it's the hat. It's all about that hat.
It's all about the hat. I don't think he takes that hat off while he's there. Let's do one more from Z Major. This is called Off Your Face featuring Lindsay Moore, and you're listening to Dope or Nope. Demo drop.
I'm not from here, it's kinda cold. I'm getting bored, you're getting old. The beat is up, so let's get down. Grab my hand, get out of town. The beat is up, so let's get down, 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 down. You're getting old. The beat is up, so let's get down. Grab my hand, get out of town. I hope that you'll enjoy your stay, and when you're here, you better pray. You'll meet your only saving grace to help when I rip off your face. Face, 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 to help when I rip off your face.
Face featuring Lindsay Moore.
Yeah.
What do you think, man?
Well, I mean, I kind of had a problem with it in that she says that I'm old, but that's nothing compared to the fact that she's going to rip my freaking face off. So,
right.
She's clearly running the show. That's a fun track. It sounds like it could be the kind of song that if you created the right radio edit, could work at dance radio. She's an interesting lady.
Is an interesting lady. Well.
Okay, by the way, that little pause right before you said the word lady is so telling.
Is it? Well, I hope I didn't offend anybody.
No, not at all. I thought it was spot on.
She's coming for my face. I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, 100%.
I think that the lyrics are either going to work or not going to work. They don't feel strong to me. It feels a little too simplistic. But that's the track is just trying to do that. The vocalist is fantastic though. The vocal tone is great. Like she can definitely sing. She has something about her tone that makes it really interesting and compelling to me. But the lyrics were a little bit lost on me, and I didn't know if I understood the story about when I rip off your face. Couldn't quite understand where she was going there. But the overall advice from a technical perspective is that the bottom end is far too splattered. The kick is way too much. So it just it's taking away from. Can you turn that down, Hess?
Sorry.
The kick is taking away far too much from the overall quality of what everything else is going on around it, because it's just splattering. So if you turn it down and made it not clip and not splatter, you have more room in the EQ range in the bottom end to be able to make the bass do more of the work, let's say. I think we'll have a stronger song overall. But and there's also a loop. I think when I rip off your face, over and over, I think you could. Instead of it feeling so repetitious and a little tedious, you could run like a flanger over it, or you could start running like a high pass filter through it. You can start making movement within it if you need to leave it as long as it is. Now, if you can't halve it and you need to leave it as it is, then that's what I would do. I'd run some extra movement across it in the EQ or.
So it kind of like does this like I know I absolutely know that sound that you're talking about, where it because that was just like it felt like just like press the button, it's just gonna repeat.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was cool, but it wasn't like it was on beat, whatever. It wasn't like kind of vibey, you know. And I felt like there was a few, that one in particular, and there was a few other spots where the track is like so cheeky. You know, I've been in clubs quite a few times where tracks like that are, you know, are the mainstay. You know, they're like, you know, circuit parties, things like that, where this is like really fun and cheeky. So like I get the vibe, but also so when you do like just a normal repeat like that on a track that's like cool in this other way, it feels like counterproductive maybe, or you know, not really on point. But yeah, Z Major, thank you for sending that out, and thanks everybody for sending off their demos and letting us always share them and talk about them. And you know, we play them later on Spotify. If you haven't seen our episodes there, please check out what the previous episodes we've done. If you're just joining us, missed it. However, you can find us on Spotify. Quite a few episodes are up there, and we do have a lot of fun doing this. If you want to send demos for next week's show, dopeornopemusic.com. Thank you, Spawn, for coming by. You can send your stuff there, and thank you, Spawn, for also setting all that stuff up so that people can get their music to us and in our ears and then in yours. So once again, Jon McDaniel, radio. Wow. I don't even know I need to get a title for you, because it's
there are no words.
He's just been doing dance music specifically for so long and has really been on top of the game. So like when he says, "Oh, you know, that could be a radio record," I think you should fucking
probably
pay attention. Yeah. Right. Lorne Padman says a lot of things, but we still like him. He is the vice president of Dimont Records. He is certainly well versed in all things studio, as he's taught and spoken at quite a few places. Thanks again for the information about the Grammys. If you guys are not out there becoming members, then
it's easier than you think. It really is easier than you think. If you're out
I have
there,
no production credits, so I'm gonna, but I also don't complain. But I think maybe I'll show.
If you're a creative music, you should be part of the organization.
Be part of it. Be part of it and vote.
And even if you're not, and if you've got a song that's dance pop and you want to put it in for the best pop dance recording award, then you should totally do it. You don't have to be yourself, and then you can find someone else can submit on your behalf.
Right.
By August 31st.
August 31st is the deadline. It's got to be in by then. I'm not going to rate anyone today. I'm just going to say thank you. Don't forget, hug someone you love. It's never too late. And thank you all for your work and your time, guys. And thanks everyone for listening. We will see you next week.
Sounds good. All right. Take care.